This week in the rumor mill, we have got to kill this World War Hulk rumor. There have been some new updates to it. Plus, Linkin Park finds themselves smack dab in the middle of the rumor mill. And we have new rumors for how Ben Affleck is going to join the MCU proper. Not just his Daredevil role, but maybe something new. So, that and a bit more, let's get into it.
It's classified.
Hello nerds, and welcome to the Rumor Mill. You have found the appropriate cheat code to get to the news before it becomes news. Here we will discuss rumors in the pop culture and nerdy realm of things, then we will discuss the probability that those rumors are legitimate, and then finally probably a little bit of my own personal speculation. If you want the more concrete news that has already become news, then there is a full news show over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom, which you can find linked down in the description, as well as at the end of this video. Now, let's see what all of those rumor mongers have to say, and which of them are just plain full of poop. Starting things off, we kind of sort of got a confirmation this week in that Giancarlo Esposito is going to be joining the MCU. He has been, in fact, cast for something, like we talked about in the movie section. We just don't know what, so it's not really a confirmation. It's just only kind of a confirmation. So there's that. But we do have a new source for an old rumor, which honestly gives this a little bit more credence. It's Chris Evans. Chris Evans is apparently, according to the rumors, apparently going to be making a return to the MCU. But not just one return. We have two different instances where Chris Evans is supposedly going to be returning to the MCU. First up, we have Captain America is going to be coming back for the Secret Wars movie. And then Johnny Storm, if you'll remember, Chris Evans played the Human Torch in the Fox Fantastic Four movies, the first two. Johnny Storm, as played by Chris Evans, is reportedly going to make a cameo appearance in Deadpool and the Wolverine. So two different Chris Evans MCU characters are coming back, according to the rumor mill. These have been circulating for some time, though they do now come from a couple of really good rumor mongers, so this is much more likely. We don't give percentage of likelihood for news sources, but we do give percentage of likelihood for new rumors. So let's talk about that.
Why do I get the impression you forgot to push the subscribe button? I mean, it's free, so go ahead and do that, and, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks. We'll get back to the show now. Okay, bye.
Our first big new rumor is a music rumor. It has to do with Linkin Park, the nu metal band extraordinaire, kind of the one of the biggest. I wouldn't say they're the biggest, because I would venture that Korn and Limp Bizkit both outshine them. But one of the biggest bands in the nu metal scene. Obviously hasn't been doing much with music recently in recent years because of the tragic passing of Chester Bennington years ago. They are now said to be entertaining offers for a reunion tour, which means they also are going to have to find a vocal replacement for said past vocalist, Chester Bennington. The rumor goes on to say that the person they are looking for to replace Chester vocally is a female. I don't know why that needs to be a thing. And then also, as part of this rumor, it goes to list the individual members who are entertaining the offers and excludes sampleist Hahn and drummer Rob Bourbon. So very interesting situation. Both of those members have been around since before the band called themselves Linkin Park. Back when they were called, there was a different name, and then they called themselves Hybrid Theory for a hot second, and then they changed the name to Linkin Park and called their first record Hybrid Theory. So yeah, very, very strange situation. Now, this is going to be an interesting caveat for the percentage of likelihood. Do I think that they are entertaining offers for a reunion tour? Yes, I absolutely do. They have been doing press, well, not all, but a few of the members besides just Mike Shinoda have been doing some sort of press recently, which means there's something brewing. So we're going to say about 70% likely that they are entertaining offers for a reunion. Will it exclude Hahn and Rob? Probably not. Also, will the vocal replacement for Chester be a female? I could honestly go either way on that one. So we'll just give it the overall 70% that there is something to this and move right along. Our next one has to do with Ben Affleck making an appearance in the MCU proper. This is not explicitly, the rumor says he's not coming back as the Man Without Fear. He will not be Daredevil in this cameo. But speculation has gone on to say that he will be coming back as potentially Norman Osborne or even potentially Doctor Doom. If it is a Norman Osborne cameo, then that very likely implies the Dark Avengers, though either way, it's probably going to be from some alternate universe, so he's going to be a variant of whatever character he comes back for. So, likelihood that this is going to be how we get Ben Affleck in the MCU proper is fairly high. I'm going to put this one just slightly above the Linkin Park one, say about 75% likely that Ben Affleck is going to have some sort of minor cameo in one of the movies coming up dealing with the multiverse. I think anything beyond a minor cameo is really out of the picture. He's not that kind of guy anymore, I don't think. So from there, continuing on with the MCU, we have Avengers 6 rumor. This one's been floating around for some time, but it's really picked up some steam recently and been picked up by a couple of the more well-known rumor mongers. And it has to do with it changing from Kang being the main villain, though we'll get to that in a different rumor. From doing, what is it, the Kang Dynasty Avengers movie, now the rumor is that Avengers movie has been turned into a new mashup movie, which will be Avengers versus the X-Men. There's a lot here. There is a lot here because X-Men is going to be introduced into the MCU very, very soon. Also, one of the best performing movies of the original saga, which I can't remember the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Saga, I think is what they called it. One of the best performing movies from that was Cap versus Iron Man, aka Civil War. And so would they want to try and replicate that kind of performance? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. So there's a lot of steam here. We're going to say this one's about 80% likely that we are going to be seeing X-Men versus the Avengers. The little bit of doubt that I have here is I don't know 100% that this is going to be the stand-in for Avengers 6. Will it be its own movie? Will it be the become what Avengers 6 was supposed to be? That part's still very fuzzy, but will they do this mashup movie? That's almost 100% likely at this point. From there, we have some Star Wars stuff to talk about. First up, we have George Lucas is being rumored to be coming back to the franchise to some degree. I guess technically this is news source for old rumor because every 6 months or so, somebody starts talking about the fact that George Lucas is going to be directing a new movie, or he's going to get another trilogy unto himself, or he's just going to be executive producing, so on and so forth, etc., etc. This one comes from somebody who works with Lucas, so it seems to have a little bit more traction, and it also doesn't specifically say what he's going to doing, which vagary usually helps for a rumor. So I'm going to say about 70% likely that we will see George Lucas involved somehow in some sort of live action Star Wars something in the future. Not super likely he'll direct, very probably he'll be a producer, and also very probably if it's a series, he'll be some sort of consultant for creativity, and I think that's about as much as I can put any sort of weight on. But staying with Star Wars, we have another rumor saying that because the reason why George Lucas is coming back is because Jon Favreau is out. Jon Favreau has decided that he no longer wants to work with Kathleen Kennedy and has hit the bricks, as it were. Yeah, said to be creative differences, though this is where this rumor starts to fall apart because it's not Kathleen Kennedy this time, which is every other time we've talked about the potential for Jon Favreau to be leaving the franchise. It's been because he hates Kathleen, because everybody hates Kathleen. And now it's saying that it's creative differences between he and Filoni. That seems very odd. Also, the rumor goes on to say that the Mandalorian and Grogu project was only a rumor that was started by Disney. So Disney was the ones that said, hey, we're going to do this thing without getting the okay from Filoni or Favreau in order to talk about this movie. But again, that is not part of the Disney playbook. It might kind of be part of the Kathleen Kennedy, rather. It might be part of her playbook. That kind of jury is still out, because whether or not the Rey movie actually happens is what is going to be the deciding factor there. But yeah, the fact that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie isn't a rumor, it was officially announced. This sounds like fanboy wish list stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to give this one a whole lot of credence, though, because it is possible. It's been in the rumor mill to some degree for so long. We're going to say 40% possible that this is a thing. I really don't put a whole lot of weight on that. From there, we have more MCU rumors. This one is the World War Hulk rumor. So we now have a rumor saying that one of the they're doing World War Hulk as a series, and that it's not going to include Mark Ruffalo. He plays the Hulk in the MCU, so why he is currently playing the Hulk in he hasn't been recast. That's not a thing, but it says that they're not going to include Bruce Banner in the rumor. It says they're not going to include Bruce Banner in this series. So how is that World War Hulk? That does not add up. The one thing that kind of makes a little bit of sense with this rumor is that it is going to be leading into the Secret Wars movie. So there is that. Also, it's going to feature more than just Hulk related superheroes. It's going to feature more street level superheroes, which is kind of the nail in the coffin right there, because we'll get to why that is in a moment. But that big kind of giveaway just sounds like somebody got their information, their wires crossed a little bit. So we're going to say 20% likely that World War Hulk is going to be coming out anytime soon, and even kind of sort of resembling this rumor. It's not bloody likely. But we do have an Avengers 5 rumor that might be where this rumor got started. So the Avengers 5 rumor comes from a few of the better sources for rumors. It says it's going to consist of smaller superhero teams. It's not going to include the Fantastic Four, and they have asked previous MCU actors to quote unquote keep their schedules open. It will very likely include Kang, who will be recast, as well as Doctor Strange, who is still being played by Benedict Cumberbatch. So this one, there is a lot more meat behind this one, excuse me, because they're trying to build out the universe a little bit more. This sounds like it fits more in line with the game plan that we know is already in place from Feige. So this one seems a bit more likely. Will it play out exactly like this? Will it play out like we're only going to get cameos from the more well-established characters, and it's going to focus mostly on those quote-unquote street-level, smaller teams? That part seems a little bit more on the murky side, but I think there's a lot more to this one than any of the other ones dealing with the Avengers stuff. So we're going to say 80% likely for the smaller teams version of the Avengers in Secret Wars. And then next on the rumor mill list is Apocalypse, the first mutant, as he likes to call himself. The rumor here in the MCU is that they are going to cast The Rock to play Apocalypse in the MCU. It sounds like it could be fun, but is it likely? There's not enough information on either side of this. Honestly, if I was going with my gut feeling, I would say no, unless Marvel really pulls their head out of their ass and starts dealing with their villains a little bit better, because Apocalypse is kind of a nagging issue throughout the entire life of the X-Men and the Marvel universe as a whole anyway. So if they approach it from that angle and The Rock gets to be in a number of very big budget, very big Disney Marvel movies, then yeah, that seems a little bit more likely. But is he so expensive that they only want to throw one movie at him? And then if that's the offer, is he going to take it? Probably not. So it kind of could very much go both ways. So we're going to split the difference right down the middle, say about 50% likely that we will see The Rock as Apocalypse in the MCU. So from there, I would really love to thank our channel partner here at Generally Nerdy, and that is Dubby. Dubby has been so kind as to join up in a partnership with us and give us a way to earn a little bit of money here on the channel, and with a proper tasty product and something that I actually enjoy consuming myself. So even if I wasn't sponsored by them to a certain degree, like, I would still be actively consuming this. This is the Push and Punch variation. Our next one that we're going to try here on the channel is the Cali O Cream. It's the orange creamsicle one. Dubby is a bit cheaper than the competition, so there's that. The only way to beat their prices is if you shop at the dollar store and get very, very lucky. And they have more than just a caffeine blend. There's a lot of nootropics in here so that you can actually helps you focus. Definitely when I'm at work and I need to buckle down, the caffeine helps, sure, but the nootropics help me focus and get the food at my restaurant out fast without any mistakes. And legitimately, I really dig the Dubby stuff. So that is our sponsor spot for the day. Thank you very much, Dubby. And now let's get back to the show. From there, let's talk about some speculation on some of the things we've been talking about. Kind of the first one I wanted to touch on is HeMan. We talked about the HeMan movie that we now have a release date, and they gave us a little bit of a synopsis. This, I speculate, is going to be atrocious at the movie theaters. Is not going to make very much money. It is in fact going to bomb, given the information that we have been given. And then from the comic book section, there's a little bit of speculation there as far as the Pete Wentz comic book. Pete Wentz's target audience is middle-aged millennial women. Not exactly a whole lot of comic book readers in that demographic, so I think it too is going to do rather poorly. At the very least, his curated playlists are probably not going to do so great either. I think that was all of the speculation I really wanted to touch on. Oh, and then the Nintendo Switch, I think the internet, this is a different kind of speculation. When we don't get any information, like they told us we're not going to, but when we don't get any information from I think there's 2 Nintendo Directs that are already scheduled within the next 3-6 months. Yeah, when we don't get any information on the Nintendo Switch there, it's very likely that there's going to be a lot of very angry nerds who don't pay attention very well, because they're telling us there's not going to be any information in them, but they're still going to be upset about it. But yeah, that's what we got for speculation here in the Rumor Mill, and that is what we got for the Rumor Mill. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.